Hello, hello, everyone.
Hi, good evening or good afternoon if you're watching us in North America. Welcome to day two of Brave Brushes Open Door Weekend. Say hello to us in the comments so we know that you can hear us, see us, and also let us know if you've been able to watch any of the videos. The
Yeah.
workshop, the watercolor workshop, yesterday's warm up exercises. Have you been practicing lines, doing greenery? What have you been up to? While we're waiting for a few more people to join, um, we had a new YouTube video that came out today, just a couple hours ago. And in this video, we talk about a mechanical pencil by Ellington Pens, which is called the Stealth. And oh, Julia, you're going to
This
be
one.
using it today.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and basically, long, very long YouTube story short, Julia loves this pencil. And it is the most beautiful pencil she has ever used, she has ever seen. And she will be using it today. I'm happy to hear. But Julia falls in love with art supplies quite often, I would say. But Julia, I have there's a question that came in today about your favorite supplies. Would you say it's watercolor, gouache, markers,
Oh
or maybe
no.
is there anything else that I'm missing?
I hate this question. I love all of them. Yeah, I think I love all of them equally.
So
But
no,
it
there's no
depends.
way I can make you choose.
No, 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 no. But it depends on my mood, I think. On I don't know. It's a little bit. I don't want to compare myself with Picasso,
Right. Okay, I like where this is going.
but he had different, different. What do you call it? Different.
Mediums?
No, not
No.
mediums, but in time, periods.
Periods.
Of
Okay, in his art.
in his art, and I have pretty much the same. I think every artist
Mm. So you
does.
go through a marker period,
Yeah,
then a watercolor,
yeah.
then
But much quicker than Picasso. It doesn't uh, take
it doesn't
like
take that long. Okay,
that
well, the
long.
reason I'm asking that is because there's a question that says, well, if I join Brave Brush Studio, do I need to have all of that? Or which one medium should I start with? Is it okay if I only use watercolors? Well, something like that.
Yeah, of course, of course. The most of our tutorials are not about a certain material. They are about drawing in general and practicing. For example, composition. It
Okay, that
works.
applies to any medium.
Yes, yes. Also, urban sketching,
Shadows
shadows, textures. We did them with
with a
different.
variety of mediums, actually. With
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And a lot of tutorials are with fine liner. Everyone has a fine liner, right?
okay, well, if you don't, you should get one. You
Yes,
will
I
need
think
one
so.
for today's workshop. But most people who join us in Brave Brushes Studio usually use watercolors. That's like number one medium. Although we have had members like Jeanette, for example, who did all of our workshops with markers. Gouache
Watercolor.
workshop or watercolor workshops with markers. Then we've had members like Emma, who, when she joined, well, didn't really use any mediums, right? Um, was a beginning sketcher. She had never tried markers before, but a year later, she sketches confidently with well, all of them really,
Yes,
and
of course.
joins urban sketching events in her city. But for those of you interested in watercolors, let me just share my screen for a second. If you liked yesterday's workshop recording with the yellow door, we've got a few more recordings in our library. So this is the most recent one, just a few days ago, painting boats with watercolors. Then, yeah, the door. Again, urban sketching with watercolors. A few colored pencils thrown in there. Lavender field with gouache. Uh, Windmill with gouache. And there's another windmill workshop coming up in May, which will be
Yeah.
included in Brave Brush's subscription. This iconic building in Amsterdam, most Dutch sketchers know this building, right?
Yeah.
This one is a beautiful workshop where the watercolors just flow. I love
Yeah.
it. I never did it, but I love it. And yeah, and then there's more. And plus, there are all those workshops that you can, the list of which you can see in the pages, following the links from our open door pages. Um, so, anyways, lots of watercolor, quite a lot of gouache, really, and a whole series on markers. We've got an adventure on markers and Julia's Skillshare marker classes. So that's. I'm done talking. Let me just have a look at the comments to see who's joining us. And we'll be ready to sketch.
Yeah.
Okay. Julia, what's the plan for today?
The plan is to draw with colored pencils. Yeah, we're going to draw this scene. And for that, maybe I need to turn the camera around so.
Maybe. But Julia, before
Yeah.
you do, you wouldn't believe what I just found. I was getting ready for this workshop finally, my sketch pad. I found a sketch.
Wow.
So yes, to those of you wondering if I ever sketch, I do sometimes. Okay, sorry about that, Julia. Go ahead, and yes, turn your camera around so we can see your desk.
Yeah, okay, so it will be easier for me to show you things.
Okay, right,
Yes,
and let
and
me
maybe
spotlight you.
yes, more light
Okay,
is
nice
always
and
good.
beautiful. We've got two windmills here,
Yes.
one real and one that's better than real life.
Much brighter. Yes.
Much brighter, definitely much brighter.
Yes.
If there is one thing you're going to remember after this weekend is do not use brown for buildings.
No.
Even if they look brown, buildings often look kind of brownish, but that doesn't mean that you have to use the color, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely, because brown, especially the brown, as like in the reference, makes your sketches look not very pretty. Yeah, I think this is the color, the strawberry color I used for this wall, and it's also a little bit brownish color, but it's so much
So
brighter.
much prettier, let's say.
Yes,
So much prettier.
absolutely. So yesterday, and I hope some of you or the most of you watched this tutorial, we learned how to draw with simple shapes. And for today's sketch, we will use actually the same technique. And I said yesterday that I use this technique with simple shapes, with drawing with simple shapes for actually all my sketches. So it's very important to know this technique. If you haven't watched this video yet, you can follow this tutorial, of course, but go back later and watch it, rewatch it or watch it, so you can master this technique, and it will be easier for you to draw everything, all the urban scenes and all the objects, actually. Okay, so but before we start sketching, I want to do a very simple exercise with you. Um, we will need, by the way, we will need some colored pencils. We will need um, a graphite pencil. If you don't have a mechanical pencil, a regular pencil is good too, of course. It's not about the pencil. I just love this pencil. And so the exercise that we are going to do is a very simple one. I wanted to do some scribbles, and I need some paper for that. So if you have, get some um, draft paper, and I want to do some practicing with you. And this is because for relaxing your wrist, for just as a warming up, you know. So don't try to make anything beautiful or whatever. It's really for to get your wrist, your hand warmed up, so we can draw much easier and better, hopefully. So the things that you can, um, I hope, by the way, that you watched the tutorial, yesterday's tutorial about the lines that Anna mentioned, because it's a very good tutorial to practice with lines. Today we will do a shorter version of this exercise. So you can start with just drawing short lines, and it's very important to have your wrist uh, relaxed, and try to draw them parallel to each other. So like this. You can start slowly and um, later draw them faster and faster. We can do the same in the other direction, vertical lines. And some lines, some longer lines, also parallel to each other, like this. And to draw them parallel to each other, it's important to look at the previous line. Not only look at the line that you are drawing, but also at the line you have already drawn, like this.
If it's straight.
If it's straight. Yeah. And we can do the same in the other direction, vertically. And if you do this exercise a few days, um, then you will notice that it becomes easier and easier to draw them parallel, like this. Okay, so now maybe your wrist is even um, less relaxed, but I hope you can relax it really. Now let's do some scribbles like this to relax it, and try to make them rounder. Try to draw from your shoulder instead of your wrist. other way around. Maybe something like this, short lines. Start with short lines and make them longer. Always a good technique for drawing grass, for example. We will draw some grass here. And also a very important exercise when you draw with a pencil, with colored pencil too. When you press harder or less hard on the pencil. You start, for example, with very light pressure, and then you start to press harder and harder. And this way you can create kind of gradient with the pencil. And the other way around, you start with a darker color, with more pressure, and release pressure closer to the bottom. And this is, by the way, easier than the other way around. Somehow, I don't know why. The gradient is much smoother. Okay, and let's draw a few circles, for example, just because we have some space. I have some space here. Something like this. So you can also do your own exercises. It's not very important what you do, as long as you practice. Okay, so now we are warmed up, so we can start drawing. And for the drawing, I have here format. Let me get some. Yeah. For the format, you can use A4, or you can use, as I'm going to do, what did I say? Oh, you can use A5 format, or you can use A4 format, as I'm going to do, and draw on half of it. So let's start. And I will start with a frame. With a frame for my picture. Oh, let me, by the way, we need
Yes,
the
yes. For
reference,
those
of course.
who don't have the reference printed out, but also for yourself too, to have it right next to your page.
Yes, so we start with a frame. It will be a little bit bigger than the reference, but pretty much the same proportions. And now you can draw these straight lines, I hope, because we've just practiced with them. Okay, so the frame. And now we start looking at the reference and trying to find these simple shapes as we did in the previous tutorial. So I start here, for example, with a rectangle, and these are two triangles, of course. And then we have a rectangle again, another one a little bit bigger, and here we have another rectangle. This is also a rectangle. It's an empty space, but it's a rectangle as well. And then I look at the picture and I can see that both of this, the top of the roof is pretty much in the middle of the reference. So I can divide my drawing into two parts, and this will be the top of the roof. And I draw here.
Can you press harder,
Oh,
Julia?
yeah.
Your beautiful pencil.
Okay.
Yeah, like this.
Okay. And here I have the roof, a rectangle with a triangle at the end.
Sandra, to answer your question, no, this is not a fine liner. This is a pencil.
This is a
Julia is just
mechanical
using a
pencil.
mechanical pencil. Uh, so this pencil is called the Stealth by Ellington Pens. You can watch a YouTube video later about it, but it's basically just a mechanical pencil. Is it 0.7 millimeters,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Thick.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, it's a soft one, but my paper is quite um, smooth, and this is the reason why it doesn't really look like a soft pencil thick. No, it's not only um, the thickness that is important for drawing, but also the hardness, how hard it is. So this is the, I think it's like a B, not a B, yes, or 2B. It's quite a soft pencil. That's also important for drawing, but not for now. Okay, so here we have a rectangle with a triangle and a rectangle and a triangle on top of it. And also here we have uh, it's not a rectangle exactly, but we can draw it like this first, and then this will be the triangles again, and half or a part of a circle. And here I start with a circle, and later I can refine it a little bit. Okay, here is a very important thing with these mill rings. Um, if you want them to look pretty, you need to draw them like this. Not every single ring separately, but you draw it as one thing, as one large wing existing from two parts. Because if you draw them separately, they will probably turn out as very, very strange, because sometimes the one has one direction and the other one the other direction, but you know that they actually have one long line. Okay, so we have actually pretty much everything. Here we also have a few rectangles. A door is also a rectangle. A few circles and a tree. Also rectangles. This one should be a little bit longer because it's in perspective. And here we have a tree, an oval for the tree. And we now can also draw a few branches because now we know that what the shape of this object will be. I think we have everything we need for the fine liner. So it's already a recognizable sketch. Oh, I forgot the chimney here. Also pretty much a rectangle. It's a bit in perspective, but if you draw it just like this, it's great too. Nobody knows. I see here a very small detail. Um, Maybe you're a very small chimney too. Um, I don't know, windows, maybe. Not very important for a quick sketch, but we can draw them too. Okay, so the next stage is actually um, sketching with a fine liner. And as you can see, I don't draw every single detail out with my pencil. I just make I just draw the most important lines that I can use for refining with a fine liner. And later I will add details, like here, for example, for the male wings. I have already these shapes, and I only add some details like this. I don't need to draw them out before I start.
What's your fine liner thickness?
It's 0.5 millimeter, but 0.3 is good as well. We can draw some parts dark if we see that they are dark. We can make them dark, and we create a suggestion of these wings without drawing out every single line and detail. Oh, I see that here we have this construction, and we can also add it just like this. Also some triangles, and I forgot this ring. I can add it now. Actually, in my sketch, mm, I sometimes we can skip things that we don't like, but it's already there. Um, so I just refine all the details. I look at the parts that I think that would be interesting for my sketch, like a chimney, for example. A chimney is a very interesting detail always because if I don't, they make our sketches more recognizable. I mean, if you are in the Netherlands, for example, the chimneys here are different than in the UK or somewhere else in the world. And that makes your sketch more authentic, I think, and more interesting to see. For the roof, for the ridge, I just use kind of small ovals and this kind of um, lines, kind of scribbles for the bottom of the roof. And for the textures, we can draw some lines. I don't draw all tiles here. I don't think it would make any sense actually. Also, here for the ridge, don't try to make it too complicated. Use simple shapes for um, everything you draw. And here we can also draw textures with just very simple lines. And this small here. The bushes also textured, a little bit textured. I don't think it would be beautiful if you draw just a very straight line, so try to make it playful. And not too straight. And we can add some textures too. Um, a door, or I don't know, maybe it's a window. I have no idea, can't see it very clearly. And here, this is the door. Here, I'm sure it's the door. And not too detailed. Um, we can add a few bricks on the wall, not everywhere, just a few, just to show that this is the brick wall. And for the yes, here for this line we have some grass here, and I also draw it with a very relaxed wrist and not a line like this, not a straight line. So we create a suggestion of grass. And close. And here also some grass or suggestion of it actually. The tree trunk, not too straight. Again, um, make it a little bit like more, yeah, playful maybe. Some suggestions of leaves. Oh, the chimney, by the way. And we see the trunk through the leaves, so we can draw it some here and there. And I think this is enough. Um, Fine liner, maybe just a little bit here, but also not too much. Otherwise, our sketch will be busy, and that's not what we want. I forgot this line, I think. And now we can erase. Oh, before we do that, by the way, um, for the frame, I use this brush pen because it has a thicker line. And if you then don't have a brush pen, you can also use a thicker fine liner. And I think it makes the frame look more, adds more weight to the frame and makes the sketch more interesting. Okay, now we can erase the lines here. And start to color. And sometimes you see that you forgot some lines, for example here. Okay, so I see a question in the comments. How do you know where to put lines? And I can't hear. Oh, and where not, like the roof and
And
stuff.
we're not to.
Um, how do I know? Uh,
Years of practice, intuition.
yes, yes, that's that's the good answer, I think. Yeah, but look, when you practice a lot, you start to draw much faster, and it's easier to to skip some parts, and it's easier to see what you need for creating to create a beautiful look, and what you don't need. So this is really practice, and
And generally knowing that you don't need
too
to
many of
fill
them.
in
Yes,
the entire space.
exactly. Yes, that's um, yeah. That's my only answer. I'm afraid. I wish I could say you have to do it here and not there, but that's not true. Okay, so if you're ready, we can go over to coloring the everything, and I will start with the roof, just because I love orange color, and again with a relaxed wrist. Very important with actually everything, with drawing everything, but especially with colored pencils or with all the pencil. No, your wrist should be relaxed for any drawings, because also with watercolor, when your wrist is when you have too much tension in your wrist, and your colors don't flow in a beautiful way. So I just go up and down, and this way I color the whole roof. And as you can see, I don't try to color everything again, the same as with the fine liner. I skip some parts for the textures. It looks more interesting, I think. Here the chimney, use the pink color, uh, just because I like it, and because I think that yeah, of course it's not pink, it's brown. But as we said before, if you use this brown, your picture will turn out very um, dark, probably, and not impressive at all. Also for this wall, I can use the same color. And I will also use, for the same wall, I will use the color which is a little bit different, so I create some difference in color with colored pencils. And this is my strawberry color. And so we have here the wall. It's still recognizable, but the colors are much brighter. This roof is also orange. And here you can use this technique where you press very hard on one side and less hard on the other. Like this. And here we can go back to the pink color and go over to the strawberry. Here the color is darker, so I only use the strawberry color, not the real strawberry, unfortunately. Okay, so now we have colored all the red and pink parts, and now we can color the greenery. A very big advantage of drawing with colored pencils is that it goes so much faster than with watercolor, for example. Watercolor takes a lot of time to draw or to dry. And here is very important to add shadows and textures to the greenery, because if you don't do it, your greenery will be flat and boring. So, and all these strokes and the pressure on your pencil, I think it's all the mental practice. You can just know a secret and start to sketch in a very beautiful way because you know this secret. There are no secrets actually. And for the grass, I use again this very light, beautiful green color, very fresh. And farther from us, closer to the bushes, the ground is darker. This is how perspective works. And maybe I just do it like this. Some shadows from the tree. And a darker shadow will make the parts even more impressive. The whole sketch actually. In the end, some textures here. And I add the shadows on one side. And we'll also have some green leaves, of course. And I don't draw every single leaf out, as you can see. I just create a suggestion of bunches of leaves. And don't worry that much about the lines or anything like that. So just create a suggestion of a tree, of the leaves, bunches of leaves, and all that. For the tree trunk, I will use the same color as I did for the walls. And for this black I don't know what to call them. you have this black details. I use dark green. You don't need to use black for black details. Let me see. I'm going to use this gray for the roof of the mill. And draw color only this part. and that's because in my picture the light comes from this side. This is why all these parts on this side are lighter than on the other side. So this will be kind of highlight. And yeah, I don't have yellow color, no worries. I forgot this construction here. Okay, I can leave it like this, no problem at all. It's in the background, so let's just leave it like this. And here for the shadow, I use a blue color. Blue is always great for shadows. And here are some windows, also blue. Here and let's assume that this is also a window. And windows usually have shadows like this. Don't want to draw all the shadows because it would make the picture look a little bit too busy, but this is enough, I think. A little bit darker pink here. Okay, so some finishing touches. Oh, the sky, my favorite turquoise color. I want to make the sky turquoise. I think it's such a beautiful color. Here I press very, very soft on the pencil and start pressing harder and harder closer to the right edge. Oh, the chimney here. Almost forgot it. I think it would be interesting to add some color here to the middle. And yeah, the last thing that I want to add actually is some shadows. I want to add them, for example, here under the roof. It's very dark here, so let's add some shadows. Also here. Some leaf textures. Here, maybe something like this. And here should also be a shadow from the chimney. A shadow here, maybe here, something. Let's make them darker because they are dark. These parts. And here under the small roof. I forgot color for this part. I think it would be better if we add some. Just a little bit, not too much. And some grass here. And a few textures. And I think I'm done. I didn't color this roof because I think it would be already too much. um, so I think that it looks quite well now. Time to stop. Stop adding details. And how are you guys? Have you drawn along with me? And I did.
No, I wasn't really ready with the pencils. I don't have pencils, unlike you. I just have, so I had to use like my daughter's pencils that she uses for school coloring. So it's not exactly, Caran Dash Luminance pencils.
No, but it doesn't matter. I think it's about the practice, though, right? Oh, what cool!
See, even with your guidance, even I can draw.
Yeah, you can, of course.
Okay,
Also,
Julia, turn your
thank you.
camera around, please,
Oh,
so we
okay.
can see your face.
I see some people
Hmm.
do with me. Um,
Yeah, Leslie says you're too fast for me.
yeah, and we know in brave brushes, some people said, "Oh, you're so fast, I can't keep up with you." And
And
in
then six
March,
months later, oh,
yeah,
Julia, I'm way ahead of you.
yeah, I'm waiting for you. Yeah, yeah, but it's the experience. I think the more you practice, the faster you draw, of course. So yeah,
Well, you can watch the replay. Yeah, all
yeah,
the replays and the resources we have published so far are available until Monday morning. After that, they go back inside Brave Brush Studio. And if you are thinking of joining, we will be offering a special discount for new members for you to be able to explore, draw, paint, and try out Brave Brushes Studio. I will be sending you an email tomorrow with this special offer, and you will have until Monday evening, European time, to make this decision. But tomorrow we still have a Q&A.
yes,
So if you've got questions, send them in. Reply to any of our emails and ask your questions. We don't have to. You don't have to be on camera tomorrow to ask the question. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and so
Maybe
we'll
I can say a few words about how we actually do the Q and A.
Q&A.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Because maybe people think that we just answer the question and we say, or I say, you should do this and that. No, I show how to do it. So if you have a specific question about your problem or how to use something or how to draw something, you can always you can just ask your question tomorrow, Julia. I have this artwork and here I made a mistake, but I don't know what the mistake is. And
Something
then
looks wrong, but I'm not sure what. Yeah.
Yes, for
Okay.
example.
Or what should I work on? Like you don't
Yeah,
have to ask a specific question. You just send in your artwork and say, "Well, what are your recommendations?"
yes,
So that is also possible. So that's tomorrow at 7 o'clock Central European time.
the
And
same as today.
yes, so same time, same place. So, Julie, I think we're doing very well on time today. It's exactly 8 o'clock. So
Oh,
let's
really?
wrap this up, unless there are questions right now. And well, if you've made it here, if you've made it to day 2, you already know where to go for resources of day 3. Thank you for watching.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
for being part of this weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Bye.